Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen.
Hello.
So, today we're going to talk about my first and why I got involved in surrogacy.
For this, I'm going to need glasses. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did you find out about surrogacy, Kennedy?
Uh,
Funny
gee,
question.
how did I find out about surrogacy? You. Yeah.
Which journey of mine did you start noticing? Was it the first one or was it the triplet one?
I don't remember your first one that much. I just remember something about a creepy pool incident.
Yeah, I know.
Um, But I remember your second one like it was yesterday. Like I just remember walking into, I don't know why this is this is my first memory of it, is walking into Benihana's, and
Mhm.
it was for my birthday, but I also now know that it was also because like you guys found out that you guys were having triplets. But like to me it was like, oh, my birthday, like that's why. Um and I was like, okay, and they were just the sweetest couple, the
Yeah.
kindest hearts, the nicest people, and I just gravitated towards one of them like a lot, like his name Terry,
Right.
who we talked to, and like I just like adored him and just like wanted him to like be my best friend.
Uh,
And I just remember watching that journey. I think I was like 8, and I just was like, look at how happy everybody is. Like look at how lives are changing. Like everybody's lives are changing. Like this is like so fantastic. Like I
at the
love it
age of
so
8,
much.
you were getting all that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like it just something just like called to me when I was like 8. Like
Hmm.
something about this journey was just like, this is fantastic. This is like
So,
rare, unique, wonderful.
so then, because the first I knew that you wanted to do surrogacy was like after you had your son. That's when I kind of knew, like that's when I thought you wanted to do surrogacy. So it was kind of in the back of your mind that entire time.
Yeah, it's always been in the back of my mind since I was 8, but I never knew anything other than like I wanted to do it. I didn't know any qualifications that
Right.
needed. I didn't know anything that was like I didn't know how to like actually begin it, I
Right.
guess you could say. And then I just remember I had my kid when I was 20 and I hit 21. You're like, Ken, you're able to be a surrogate. And I was like, shut up. And then I looked into it before my kid was 1 and I was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. I can
Yeah.
be a surrogate. And so um, I was in a relationship at the time, and I wanted to pursue this because I knew it was going to be, um, I knew in the end it was going to benefit everyone involved, and my goal was to just provide my son a better life, and also do something that I just have always wanted to do since I was 8. So, but the person I was in a relationship with, he was not on board, and neither was his family, and so there was a little bit of like a wall that we hit for a little bit of time, but that relationship ended, and I pursued what I wanted to, and I became a surrogate. And right after my son turned 1, I had my first match meeting with an agency, and I signed up with an agency in November of 2016.
Okay, but
And then
wait.
I had
You're jumping. So how did you look? Because like it was so different from like when
oh,
I looked
that's
versus when
true.
you looked.
Yeah, so when I looked, I just looked on the internet. I just
Right.
Googled.
Right.
And honestly, like I didn't know what I was Googling. I just Googled and I was like, oh sure, decent enough reviews. Like let's go with them.
Oh my. Okay then. Yikes.
I knew I didn't want to go with the agencies that you went with.
Right.
So those two were already out.
Hmm.
And I saw this one and it had decent reviews. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's try it. And looking back now, really should have done a little bit more research, but it's okay because luckily I got a great match. And how they did it was, you apply online, you do all these things online, nothing paper.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I I didn't get to choose who I got to look at. They sent me a couple that was from China that literally spoke not a lick of English. And I was like, no, 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 no. I told you I need somebody who speaks English and I need a gay couple or a gay man. Like
Right.
this is what I know, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I have to do. And they have to speak English because I
Yeah.
have to be able to talk to them.
Right.
So they sent me a straight couple from China that didn't speak any English. And I was like, that's nothing. No, thank you. So then they were like, okay, well, we have a single dad who's a gay male, and like he speaks English. And I was like, great, let's set up a Zoom. And so we did, and it went very well. I remember because I was supposed to have the baby, I was supposed to have like somebody watch my kid while I was doing this interview, and they did not show up. Not a shock, but they didn't show up. And so I did this with my kid right by me, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And he was like, absolutely, don't be sorry. Like, this is great. Like, this is your life. Like, I'm not asking you to
Oh,
change your life for me. Like, I'm just asking you to help me. And I was like, oh, love you
wow.
already.
Yeah.
Um, and and he said to me, one of the things that drew me in most to you was the fact that your mom was a surrogate. And so
Mm.
you know about it, and like I respect your mom, and like all
Well,
these things kind of just lined up for him and lined up for
also
me.
in that culture,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
culture,
yeah.
the matriarch is huge to them. So
Exactly.
huge. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, great. And we talked for about an hour and a half. And then afterwards,
Was the agency with you on that call?
there wasn't it was like a coordinator, but it was more so his
Ah,
correspondent person than it wasn't my person, it was
okay.
his person.
Okay.
Because she also translated some stuff,
Okay.
but he could speak full English, so
Right.
I don't know why she was there for translating purposes. But yeah, so then afterwards she messaged both of us separately, and that night we were like, yeah,
Okay.
this is great, like let's do it. And so the next day we were matched.
There you go. Wow.
So we were matched in January, and I had my transfer in March. I had my transfer March 31st.
March 31st. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had my transfer March 31st, and I did not know until after transfer, until after we were confirmed pregnant, that it was the only embryo he had.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yikes.
and I remember coming home though, telling you like before we even had the transfer, I was like, oh yeah, there's like one embryo, like they're gonna transfer only one embryo, and
Yeah,
you flipped out. You were
I
like,
did.
not like, and then you made me nervous and scared. So I was like, wait, can we transfer more than one? And they're like, absolutely not. Like we're transferring one. So like I was panicked and like
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
But
Times how they changed,
yeah, no, who
Okay.
knew? So but no,
So,
so we had the transfer on March 31st,
so
and
when was your meeting with them? So when did you match?
January.
Okay, January. And then you literally, oh wow, that was fast, March
That was
31st.
super
Oh my
fast.
goodness gracious. Okay.
No, it was super fast.
And then
Yeah.
that year you had her. You had a baby.
I had her in December 15th.
So 1 year from January to December.
Pretty
Found an
much.
agency, you matched, and that was it. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I never, because he lived in China, so I never
Yeah.
met him until, oh gosh, I didn't meet him until I was 6 months pregnant, and he came with his partner because then he had a partner.
Yes.
And I love them and I adore them. And they came and we met them at the sonogram. It was like a 4D ultrasound place, and that's where I was like, let's meet there, and you can see your baby on the big screen and all these things. And you came, and it was the four of us.
Mhm.
And then afterwards we went out to lunch, and he met Ash, he met my kid, and he met my sister. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was very, very sweet, and they were the sweetest couple, and they were very doty, and I wasn't expecting that, and like they were just coming straight from the heart, and I was like, how could I get so lucky as a first timer? Like I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, like that's my little slice of heaven. That was like my little slice of your journey. I was like, this is
Yeah.
might be as close as I ever get.
Aw.
But yeah, so it was really sweet. And during the pregnancy there was nothing. It was the most boring pregnancy. Like
Yeah. You
I-
picked your OB, they kind of let you do your thing,
yeah, the
all that.
only thing that was crazy, man, the only thing that was really crazy was, and obviously you'll remember this, but in the beginning, what was it? I worked for a religious preschool,
Mhm.
and they found out that I was having a baby for a gay couple
Mhm.
and immediately started having me do inappropriate things for a pregnant woman.
Right.
And people around there were like, she shouldn't be doing this, she's pregnant. And they were like, well, like, blah, 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 like they just like did not care.
Yeah.
And then my son started getting bruises on his legs and scratches on his legs, and I had friends up in the daycare where he was, because it was a 2-story daycare, and
Right.
I had friends up where he was, and they were like, yeah, they're being really aggressive, but like, we call them out when we see it, but obviously we're not in the same room. And so it just became very toxic for me and my son,
Yeah.
um, which was just so appalling and
Yeah.
just made
Agreed.
no sense whatsoever. Because had I done this for a straight couple, you damn well know they wouldn't have given a crap.
Right.
So that's just even more infuriating. But then I told my agency about it, and they were like, well, you're just gonna have to quit your job. Like, we talked to the IPs and like, you need to quit your job. And I was like, okay, but like, what about money?
Right.
I'm a single mom. I'm providing for my son by myself. Like, what do you want me to do? And they were like, well, like, they want you to quit your job. And I was like,
Right.
okay. And
Yeah.
so I quit. And so I really just lived off of my surrogate compensation,
Right.
because my agency uh just
There's
there
really nothing in a contract that
was nothing in a contract
handles that.
that helped with that. And they also just didn't give me good advice. Like, they just didn't give me good advice. And then I remember when it came to the end, and like I talked to like the head person there, because I was like, I had already had the baby and all this kind of, and I just remember like bitching them out and just being like, you guys have the worst advisories. Like, it's awful. And she said, well, you signed an NDA, so you can't say anything against us. And I'm like, I get that I can't say like who you are and anything against you, but I can definitely say things against you, but not name who you are. So it was just it's very interesting. I didn't really left a bad taste in my mouth, but thankfully I had the best couple.
Yeah.
And and it was, and she, for delivery, she was not coming. So like it got time to, so I met them at 6 months, right? But then
Right.
then they went back, and then they came out, and they were gonna come out 1 week before she was due. And I was petrified. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you need to come out 2 weeks. I don't know I don't know when it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what if you miss everything? Like, what's gonna happen? But so one of them came out 1 week before because the other one was sick,
Yeah.
and they didn't tell me they were
Well, I
sick.
don't think they wanted to cause you any stress. So.
I know, but I was like, where's the other one? Like,
Right.
come on, you guys.
Right.
So the one that came out, he was British. And he came out, and he was like, you know, the other dad had to stay back. He's a little sick. He totally downplayed it. He's like, he's a little sick right now. He was
Yeah.
not a little sick. He was like a lot of sick. And like, they just did not tell me that until
He was in
like,
the hospital.
yeah,
Yeah.
for his like liver.
Yeah.
It was like, what? So yeah. But anyway, so then due date is like December 12th,
Mm.
and she's not coming. And this is my first surrogate baby, and I was so done. I took castor oil, I danced, I walked, I jiggled, I stood upside down, like I did I was like, get out. Like, I am
Yeah.
so done. You're not coming home with me. I can be done being pregnant. You're
Yeah.
cooked to the full term. Like, let's just go. And so I remember I went to go talk to Dr. B, and I was like, okay, can you help me out here? And he was like, yeah. And so I went into labor on December 15th. And it was early in the morning. And I remember you came, and then we called them.
Mhm.
Then we called them, and we were like, hey guys, like, I'm in labor. And they were in Long Beach, and they're like, yeah, we're just wrapping up a few things. I think they were at the bank or something.
Mhm.
And they just like were chilling. And then they like got there, and then everything was cool and breezy. And then they like got food and brought it
Yeah.
into the room. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, but it's fine.
First time parents.
Um, yeah, but they were sweet, and they, God, hours. They were in there with us for hours.
Mhm.
A couple, I think, at least 3 or 4.
I think it was longer than that.
Well, yeah, I think it was like 6 to 8 for sure.
Mhm.
But because I think they got there at like probably around afternoon, and she was born late evening.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah. And then she was born just fine, no complications. And I just remember that like that was like the first moment that I got of like the full thing of surrogacy, where it was like, oh my God, look at them. Like look at like
Right.
it was like, and you can attest this, they turned white as a
They
ghost.
did.
Like they were like, oh crap, she's here. Like
Well, because
what?
you were beginning to push and they were like, one was nodding off and the other one was just kind of sitting looking at his phone. I'm
Yeah,
like, baby's coming. Like,
yeah,
and they were like, what? And I threw
yeah.
them both down at the edge of the bed and the other one like stood at the top. It's like, oh dear God. Yeah, they just weren't,
Mhm.
I don't think they realized they're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then all of a sudden it's ready to happen. And they were like, I don't think they were prepared.
Yeah, I think they were somehow thrown off guard,
A little
which
bit
is kind of funny because
funny.
like we're
Yeah,
there to have a baby, but
a little bit.
sweetest people. As soon as she was born, you know, they were just like, thank you so much. And like they were crying. And like I just remember like they were like really like, especially the British guy, he was very emotional.
Mhm.
Um, the Chinese man, that was his biological daughter. And he was just a bit more like just
Stoic.
straight face, but like still like you could see that like he was like very appreciative, and he very much made that known. And then he called the nanny,
Yeah.
and the nanny came. And the nanny came in the room, and I was like, hi, how are you? I was
Yeah.
just had the baby. It's so nice
So
to
funny.
meet you.
So funny.
So freaking funny because like they were just there doing skin to skin, and then like 20 minutes later they're like, oh, the nanny's downstairs. I'm like, oh, is she now?
Because you
Great.
have to kind of explain what that is. They actually were staying at a house
They
that
were. Yeah,
literally,
they were staying at a house, which is wild because I know that people do that, but like it was just interesting to hear it. Like they were staying at a house, and they weren't the only couple staying at this house
right.
that were having a baby here.
Mhm.
And they were staying at this house, and it was basically like a VRBO, but with like a built-in nanny and
Mhm.
like chef, and like it was like this woman or like ladies that like did all the things,
Mhm.
and all they had to worry about was like, you know, living in the happy moments of having a child, which like
Right. They would get up with the
dream.
baby in the nighttime if the parents didn't want to. They would bathe the
Exactly.
baby. They would
Yeah.
do everything if the parents didn't want to. Right.
What a dream. Like how nice. Yeah, so it was interesting because the nanny came and like didn't
Ugh.
leave.
To the
Um,
hospital. Right. Right.
they just
Yeah.
like didn't leave the
Right.
hospital
Right.
until like, they left because then they went back to the house, the same
Right.
house together. But yeah, so then we got put into rooms,
Mhm.
and it was so fun because like we were in rooms that shared a wall.
Yeah.
Like we were all on like really good, like a friendly basis, and like
Yeah.
we were like cool, like let's hang out. And you know, I had the hour written in my contract, but I didn't use it because
Right.
like they just wanted to come over and hang out, and
Mhm.
then they were like, oh, and I think I watched her for like 10-15 minutes by myself, like while they like went and got something to eat, and then they came right back and ate the food there. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like we just hung out, and I remember I got a lot of time with her because the British guy, he was messaging me, and he was like, can I come? And I was like,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, why, what's wrong? And he's like, I just want to be with the baby. I don't want the nanny around right now. I was
yeah.
like, then come over. Like, let's hang
Yeah.
out. Like, let's go ahead, do your thing. You can come in
He
here.
wanted, from what I remember, he wanted to learn how to do everything. He wanted to be
Yes.
very involved and very active, and he
He
wasn't being given the opportunity
he
because
had explained it that like Western is very different than, I guess you would say, Eastern.
yeah,
Like, because he was like, I want to be very hands-on, whereas like his partner was like, no, like that's what we have the nanny for. Like the nanny's gonna be hands-on, and we're just gonna deal with like the fun stuff, or you
right,
know, stuff like that.
right,
And he was like, no, I want to do it all. And so I commended him for that. And I was like, absolutely, come over here and learn to do everything. And I think you
yeah,
even helped him like figure out how to like change a diaper or
right.
something.
Yeah, I remember
Which was
because of the
like
umbilical cord, and it was like, no, you can't put that on top of it. You got to make sure it's underneath.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Mhm.
was so cute, and like they were just like the sweetest people. And we were each there for 24 hours. I was there for a little less than 24, and
Mhm.
she had to stay until 24 hit, and that was at like 11 o'clock at night, I think. And then they left that night, and
Yeah.
they went to Chino Hills where they
Wow.
stayed.
Wow.
um
And then how long did they have to stay in the States?
I think they had to stay 6 weeks.
I think so too. I think they had to get her birth certificate, or they had to get the birth certificate and then get the passport.
and theirs was taking a bit longer than they had anticipated, was
Hmm.
my understanding, because they thought they could get out in 4.
Yeah.
Um, but they ended up getting out in 6. And we went over uh and hung out. Well, we went over and got dinner with them.
Yes, I
It
remember
was
that.
me, you, dad, my brother, his wife,
Mm.
and then my son, and we went over and met them at the house and saw the baby.
Hmm.
And then the nanny kept the baby, and they came out and had dinner with us.
Right. That's so weird.
Um, we got sushi because the whole pregnancy I was like, I just want sushi and I can't eat it. And they're like, absolutely, we'll go get it. We'll go get Thai food, because they actually introduced me to Thai food, and I was
Right.
like, oh, gee, I love Thai food now. And so yeah, so we did that, and then we all just became really good friends. And my brother actually ended up getting a job with them, which was small world,
Very small.
for
Hmm.
a little while. And
It's a couple of years. And
yeah, yeah.
and
And
funny thing is the the dad,
mhm.
the little baby was born, the little girl was born on December 15th.
Oh yeah, I know.
And yeah, it's bizarre.
Well,
And
so
that
she was born on December 15th,
and
and
that
your triplet's dad's
dad
birthday
birthday is
is
December
December 15th.
15th.
And then the other trippy thing is
The
my
triplet
intended
dad,
dad,
yes,
his birthday is August
August
15th.
no,
And
it's
your,
August 14th.
oh, sorry, August 14th. Sorry, August
And the
14th.
triplets
And
were
your
born
triplets is August
14th.
14th.
So that just very weird. Very, very weird that
Like,
that went down. Yeah.
and we figured that out while I'm in labor
We
in the
did.
hospital room.
We
Like, we're
did.
just talking about things, and we were like, wait, what? Like, it was like the
Yeah.
weirdest.
It just solidified that that was like totally meant to be. I don't, it was just odd. It was just, I was like,
It's so
wow,
weird.
how small is that world? Yeah. Hmm. Interesting.
So freaking small. So
Yeah.
small. But yeah, and then after we all went out to dinner and stuff like that, then I saw them one more time. I saw
Mhm.
the dads and the baby one more time, and we went to the mall. And I can't remember if my sister came with us. I think she did.
I
Um,
did. I think
I
I
think you
came.
did.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we went to go see them, and then
I think it was close to them leaving, like we were gonna say goodbye or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were leaving like 2 days later or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And so then they left, and uh we stay in touch. Like, we talk often. I actually have to upload my WeChat because I haven't uploaded it in a while. But yeah, and so we talk every now and then, and especially on my birthday and her birthday. And they actually asked me to carry their second baby, but I was pregnant with my third surrogate baby at the time, so I couldn't.
Interesting.
Um, which was kind of sad because I would have loved to have been their surrogate again. That would have been
Yeah.
really fun. Um, but yeah, and they invited me to their wedding.
They
We were
invited
on
all of
a-
us.
I know, but we were on a cruise.
That was crazy. It was
I was
crazy.
like, freaking kidding me?
We were waiting for a baby to be born in our family to get old enough. We were waiting for you to be done with the surrogacy. We were waiting for a lot of things to kind of, and we
I
planned that. I was like, oh my gosh, are
know.
you kidding me? I would have loved to have gone, but oh
You would have loved to have gone. I would
yeah,
have loved
right.
to have
I know
gone.
that would have been fun,
Come
but
on.
so we had a good time.
But yeah, but then I actually just saw the British dad, because
Okay.
he just had a baby this past year. They had another baby through surrogacy, and so it was his biological child.
Okay.
And so I went and I met him and their new baby.
Oh yay!
Yeah.
I didn't
So
know the baby was there. That's nice.
yeah, I got to hold the baby, and the
Hey.
surrogate was there.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right. I
it
remember.
was it was so awkward.
Yeah, that is weird.
Like, the
Yeah.
house was like really quiet, but like she brought her two boys, which were like really roughhousey, and then she like was very like distant and like territorial. And I was
Yeah.
like, I was like under the impression that I was coming to hang out with him, not like
Yeah.
you and the baby. Because
Yeah.
like, please don't feel like I'm stepping on your toes. Like, and I tried to make light of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is really awkward. Like, I just want to go. Like,
Oh, that's too
but it was nice to see them.
yeah.
So.
So, um, your agency, would you recommend that agency? I know we're not saying
No.
names. Okay. What was the main reason why you wouldn't? Like just no support, or I mean, if you could just put
Oh
it
my
in a
God.
nutshell, what would it be?
I've only ever talked to one person and I never named the agency, but they did when I described it.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, it's so and so. And I
Oh, so
I
they knew.
literally laughed.
Oh,
I
wow.
laughed so hard because I was like, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Absolutely I know. And I was like, oh, okay.
Huh.
Um, they're a bit of a mess. They
Yeah.
are not
Well, then they were. We can't say they
then
are
they
now,
were,
but
sure,
yeah.
then they were. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
Okay. That's
So
fair.
in 2017, they were a bit of a mess.
Okay.
They advised me extremely poorly.
Yeah.
Um, just they just didn't seem like they had any interest in the surrogate. It was very much this agency very much does has a lot of couples from China
Mhm.
and they are very international friendly, which is great, but I feel like they're just there.
They got
Like
to grow a little bit on how they deal with their surrogates,
they're
probably.
not, yeah. And my understanding was also from my IPs, but that they really didn't feel the support from them either. Like they were
Oh,
like, no, like this,
mm.
we just
That's
went
right.
here because our friends went here and they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, go there. But like, thank God it worked out because we could all talk and
Right.
thank God we didn't have any problems.
Right.
But if something did happen, how like I had no hope for anything.
Yeah.
Looking back, I have no hope that something would have been resolved because like they just they weren't that equipped with certain situations.
Right.
Um,
So a silly question. Would you be a surrogate again? We already know you were a surrogate two more times. So
it was
that's a silly question.
it was
So
really
what
good.
was something you wish somebody told you before you became a surrogate? Is there something, I mean, think back then, like, is there
Yeah.
something, what?
Back then or just now, because like now I'm going off my third surrogacy.
Yeah.
Um, back then to my first one, do your research. And everybody says that, but like truthfully, do your research, call. That's something that I still learn after every agency I've been with. Call, 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 call. I have called 14 agencies within the past
Wow.
8 months and I've gotten so much information, vastly different information.
Yeah.
And it really just comes down to like what's important to you as a surrogate that
Yep.
you're getting out of it. And just because you're a first time surrogate does not mean that you have less rights.
Correct.
Yes, your compensation won't be the same as a third, fourth, second time surrogate, but
Right.
I mean, know your value and worth because you've obviously been pregnant before if you're going to be a surrogate. So like
Right.
that is on you.
Mhm.
But yeah, your research if you're going with an agency, research that agency
Correct.
and find reviews that aren't on that agency's website. Like
Right.
go to Yelp, go to wherever, Google reviews, go to wherever you can
Right.
and see and click. What I like to do is I like to go tell me why you gave them 1 star. I want to know why you gave them 1 star. I don't want to look at your 5 star reviews. I want to look at your 1 star reviews.
Yeah.
I want to know why people are giving you that 1 star and how many times does the same thing get repeated for that.
Right. Well, good advice. Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Um, Now your son was very, very tiny back then, so he probably doesn't remember any of that. I mean, and
Yeah.
you were not working for, I'd probably say the second half of that surrogacy. So you were spending a lot of time with him, which was really nice for you guys. So
Yeah.
because he was young. So
He definitely remembers hanging out with me,
yeah,
not my belly.
right, right,
Because he, even to this day, I don't know how he has this memory, but even to this day, he'll say stuff like, "Oh, do you remember when we did this?" And I'm like, "No, but
yeah,
okay." And like he'll find a picture, and I'll be like, "Sure, we did that." Like
right,
I don't remember, but
yeah,
yeah, it didn't affect him, and
mm-mm,
he's fine.
yeah. No, he is good. And I think they incorporated him. They sent him, I remember they
Oh my
sent him a
gosh, did they
Batmobile,
ever?
a
They
Batman.
sent him, and they
So many
spoiled him with
cool
me. They
things.
sent him like this crazy bike that it was like a Peloton before Peloton was a
I
thing.
still
And
have
like
it.
the kids, oh my God, shut up.
Uh-huh.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so funny. I remember trying to get him on that and like his feet wouldn't reach. Like, oh no, how
Mhm.
do we do this? And like, oh, I bet Roy could fit on that now. But
And it was really like something like to exercise when you're going to watch your tablet or you're going to watch your,
yes, while you're gonna play, because it's like playing a game. It's like, let's do a racing
right.
thing. Like oh man, he might love that now.
Yeah. And they sent him like a little four by like the 4 week the
A, a
ATV
4 week. Yeah,
ATV kind of
yeah, like
thing.
an ATV. It's like it only goes 5 miles.
Battery operated. So cute.
Yeah. Yeah. We still
Really
have it.
nice.
It's in the
They were
garage.
very nice to him. Very nice.
Super
And then
nice.
I do recall them coming out. He was coming for work or something after you had delivered the baby, after
Oh
invited
yeah.
our whole family.
I was pregnant with my
The
second
second, that's
surrogate
right.
baby, and our whole family, but my sister went.
Mhm.
So even my brother went. He was working for him at the
Yeah.
time,
Mhm.
and we all went. We went to Thai food
Mhm.
because he was like, "Well, you love Thai food." I was like, "Of course I
Yeah.
love Thai food. You got me into Thai food." So we
And
went to Thai food.
he brought gifts for
He
everybody.
did,
Very
and
sweet.
he was so sweet, and like so that how interesting. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
picture of that where
Yeah.
I'm pregnant with another couple's baby.
Yep.
And here I am hanging out with my first couple. And like that was so cool.
Yeah. I remember that. That was really nice.
Yeah, that was really cool. I miss them.
Aw. Um, I think you hit it all.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
you talked
should
about
have.
all of it. Yep. I mean, there's one in here. What's something you wish would not have happened or had more knowledge? But we kind of covered all of that. You already said most
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, the thing that I wish wouldn't have happened would probably be just, the agency advising me to quit my
Yeah.
job without having, because I mean, I depleted my compensation like that. That's why I had to do a third surrogacy because my end goal, and I'm not ashamed to say it, my end
Right.
goal was to buy a house, and I'm sitting in my
Right.
house now, which
Right.
I have provided for my son as a single mother. So
Yeah.
no, I don't, I hate that part,
Yeah.
especially knowing now what my third journey was.
Yeah.
Um, but I also wouldn't take back that
The
that
time you got with your son
yeah.
either. Right. I know there was trade-offs. So if you
Yeah,
had to rate it,
exactly.
I don't think we've ever done this before, but I think I'm going to start doing it. If you
You're gonna
had
start
to,
doing it out.
yeah, if you had to rate your surrogacy on a 1 to 10, all of the pieces of it,
Okay.
what would the first one would have rated? One being the worst, 10 being the best experience
Well,
you've
what's
ever had.
what's your first one?
My first one, I would probably give it a 5.
That's high.
You think?
I think for what are you doing out of 10?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of high for your first one. You almost died. Of
Oh, see, and I don't look at that part of it. I'm looking
course
at
you don't.
no, I'm looking at the surrogacy part of it with, going and doing the transfer, and the couple was very nice, things like that. It's just
Sure.
that whole 5. The triplet pregnancy, I would love to give it a 10, but there was just an issue there where we had to deal with it. I probably would give that like a 9.7. Yeah.
9.7. All right.
Yeah.
All right. This one I would give probably an 8.8.
Wow. That's nice. Yeah, I think it needs to be pretty high because it really, it kind
This
of
was
went like clockwork. Yeah.
this was my most memorable. This was my most connected journey out of
There
all
you
my
go.
journeys. This was
There
my
you go.
most connected one where I love them a lot and they have a
Yeah.
lot of love for me and my family. And so
Very
yeah.
sweet. Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think my
Do you
third.
not agree with that?
No, I totally agree with that. I think my
Oh,
third was worse than, just on how they both played out. My third was worse than my first.
hallelujah.
Okay. Yeah. No. No. You too. Yeah. Yeah. So I give.
It's like I'm living your life.
I swear it's weird. Yeah.
It's bizarre because small little fact. I had a transfer March 31st. Okay, here's a couple little things. So I had a transfer March 31st. My first surrogacy transfer was March 31st.
Mhm.
My third surrogate baby was born March 31st.
So weird.
Another
It's
little
weird.
fun fact. That's like bizarro.
It's
Another little fun fact. I had my transfer March 31st, right?
mhm.
And how did you meet your husband?
On Love Connection.
On Love Connection. So 2 days later,
Yeah.
I went on Love Connection and
Right.
they didn't know I was pregnant. So if anybody watches that episode ever,
Yeah.
I just look chunky, but really I was just
Well, you just
dosed
had a
up on
transfer.
fertility meds.
Yeah, you're fertility meds. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
don't even know you were pregnant. Like,
Well, I had a transfer and I was hoping
Right.
I wasn't pregnant, but
Right.
yeah,
Crazy.
sorrow. Just following your footsteps of
You
life.
are. You are.
You're welcome.
I feel very honored that you are. I honestly I do. I think it's honestly I never in a million years, Kennedy, would have thought you would have done surrogacy. I'm not even kidding you. I am not even kidding you. Nope. Never would have thought it. Thought maybe you would donate your eggs because of the money factor.
But you know what?
Mhm.
My sister scared the shit out of me with donating my eggs, so like I didn't follow through with that.
Oh, Okay then.
Well, because she like put it in perspective, not to like throw her out there, but like she was like, so you're cool with having little Kennedys that like aren't yours? And I was like,
And
oh no.
that's the reason I
Like,
never did. That's
no.
right.
I commend anybody who does that. Like
Yeah.
for me, I would just be so curious. Like, who are you? Like, where are you? Like, you're my
Mhm.
little
Yeah.
person, even though
Agreed.
they're not, but
Well,
like
they're still
they,
your, it's,
yeah, well, they're related to me. Whereas like
uh-huh,
surrogacy, like,
half your
no, you're
DNA,
baby,
girl.
you're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because back when I did surrogacy, you could use your own egg. You could, yeah, right.
You can, I've been doing so much research right now.
Ugh,
Like, there are small
I don't like it.
cases where their traditional surrogacy is still a thing.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Hmm.
No,
Yeah. And the gals that I knew that did it were like, well, I'm losing one egg a month anyway, so why not? And I'm thinking, oh, okay.
I mean, it's
Each his own, each his own. I
to
could have
each
never
their
done it.
own.
I could have, especially being adopted, I could have never, ever done it.
Yeah.
Ever. Mhm.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
get
that's
that.
okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I never thought you would. And then to do it once, then I thought, oh, okay, yeah, she's gonna be doing it again and
No,
again
no,
and
no.
again.
That's not what you said to me in the hospital.
What a city.
I had that baby, and you turned to me and you're like, you're addicted to surrogacy, aren't you?
Yeah,
I'm like, absolutely not, Ellen.
that's
Absolutely
baloney.
not. And then it was like a year later, and I was like, so I'm gonna do a second surrogacy.
Right. Was it even a year?
Yeah, because my second transfer was yeah, it was a year.
Okay.
What? Yeah, because my second transfer was December 14th the following year.
So it was almost 1 year to the day that
Yes.
she was born. Yeah. But you had looked at agencies, you had signed up with an agency, you did meds, you got matched. So it really wasn't a year.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Probably more like 7, 8 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. This is fine.
Whatever.
All right. Anything you need to add? Or are you good?
I think I'm good.
I think you're good.
All right, cool. Well, if anybody has any stories that they would like to share, or if you guys have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out to me at Stop.Sit.Surrogate on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next week.
Then Stop, Sit, Surrogate with Kenedi and Ellen. Bye, everyone.
Bye.